Hello, and welcome to another Unbiased Gear Review. Today, we are taking a look at the Schecter Damien Platinum 9. As always, let's go over some of the specs of this guitar. We have a mahogany body with a set 3-piece maple neck. We have this beautiful, beautiful satin black finish on there with binding on the body as well as the neck. We have a rosewood fingerboard with 24 extra jumbo frets. We have these awesome Grover tuners and a Hipshot Bridge, as well as EMG 909 pickups, master volume, master tone, 3-way toggle, and a 20-inch radius on the fretboard and a massive 30-inch scale. So let's go over some things that I absolutely love about this guitar. First of all, this thing plays incredibly, incredibly well. I mean, I've got a Schecter that I've had for over a decade that is my be-all, end-all instrument. I will never, ever get rid of it. And this is probably the first Schecter that I've bought brand spanking new in maybe a good 5-6 years. It is really, really well built and it plays fantastic. The guitar itself is super inspiring. The riffs are just flowing out of me. It's very, very comfortable. The neck profile is a very thin C shape that's kind of flat along the backside, which, to be honest with you, the fact that this is a 9-string guitar, it better be pretty flat along the back there. Otherwise, you're going to be subjecting yourself to hand cramps. The components themselves are really, really nicely put together. I would have much preferred probably having some locking tuners on here. The thing holds its tuning rather well. The nut is nice and perfectly flush up against the fretboard, which is nice. There are two truss rods that are running through the neck for extra stability, as well as carbon reinforcement rods for the same purpose. The fretboard, being that it is a 20-inch radius, is also rather easy to navigate as well. And the setup that came from the factory is pretty much about as perfect as it gets. I lowered the strings ever so slightly just to give me a little bit nicer action, but besides that, no fret buzz whatsoever, no dead spots, no nothing. It's just really, really nicely put together. The only thing that I would probably call out with regards to the QC on this model is that at one point I had a nice little surprise when I took it out of a gig bag after heading to a music store for some strings to find that one of the screws from the bridge had just fallen right out. No big deal, popped it right back in. It just seems a little bit loose, that's all. Looking at the appearance of the guitar, there's not really anything that I would call out from like a quality control standpoint or anything like that. If you wanted to get super duper nitpicky, there is a spot in the binding on the headstock where they just don't quite align 100% spot on. Big deal. This thing is a rather inexpensive instrument. List price on these is $1,200, and typically you can get these for less than $800 street. So with that being said, it's kind of expected that something here or there is just not quite right. The fact that that's pretty much all I can find, that and the bridge screw, that is a pretty well put together guitar. Aesthetically, I really like the flat black. I love the silver binding. I love the satin chrome hardware on everything except for the bridge. I think it looks really nice. The only thing that I don't like, and that a lot of you would probably call out as well, is the bat inlays. I'm sorry, Schecter. I know you've been putting out these Damien series for quite a long time, and they've always had the bat inlays. They're gross. Please just put on there some sort of like dot or diamond or block inlay, something more tasteful than that. That's just something where you've got a really tasteful, elegant looking guitar, and then you put something that just looks a little tchotchke on it. Dude, I'm a fucking idiot. I almost forgot. Oh my god, the fretwork on this thing is absolutely incredible. Like, seriously, that's the thing that I always call out in every one of my videos. What does the frets look like? Is it a brand that obviously gives a shit and kills and dries their wood to enough of a degree where it's not jutting out? Or is it at least enough of a brand that's got enough quality control and enough sense of, I don't know, I guess wanting to ship out a decent product that they're going to take the time to look at the fret edges and file that sucker down? In this case, Schecter looks like they've come up with two different solutions for it. First of all, they've got binding along the edge of the fretboard. Hey, awesome, I like this. It serves a purpose. It covers up those fret ends. It covers up anything that could be sticking out one way or another. The other thing is, too, is that if you look really closely at the fret edges, you can tell that every single one of these things has been rounded off, at least to some certain extent. That is super cool, and that is a really nice attention to detail that to find that on a Korean-built guitar, that's impressive. So I know what you guys are wondering. How does the thing sound? Honestly, it sounds really good. I'm not the biggest fan of EMG pickups. I used to use them a lot back when I was younger, but it's just not my favorite thing in the world. At some point, I kind of got an understanding that a lot of you guys have that, hey, passive pickups just have a lot more dynamics to them. They pick up a lot more subtle nuances, and the active pickups typically sound very sterile. That being said, these things are voiced in such a way that, man, they just sound so goddamn heavy in this guitar. That's the bridge pickup. Sounds totally awesome. Don't get me wrong, there's still like certain frequencies and like the lower mids that's kind of mushy in there, but for all intents and purposes, to get something that sounds this good at this price point right when you first get it, that's awesome. And that's part of the reason why when I was shopping for a 9-string, I went with this as opposed to like another Agile or even like the Ibanez RG9s. is, don't get me wrong, I think that the price point is very attractive of those instruments, but I didn't want to pay that much and just get some factory pickup bullshit like what Ibanez typically puts in their stuff. This at least has something respectable, which is those EMGs. So kudos to them. And further, the neck pickup, it could stand to sound a little bit more vintage, but it still sounds really, really awesome and really usable. So my final thoughts on the instrument, I think it is unequivocally a winner. I absolutely love this thing. The thing plays exceptionally, really well put together, really exceptional quality control, and I think it's an incredible value. I think this might actually be a keeper instrument for me. You guys know I buy and sell stuff all the time. I think I want to hang on to this for a while. It just speaks to me on so many levels, and I can't stop playing it. I mean, I really wish I had more to say, except that I really wish that other brands were putting out as consistently incredible product as Schecter. I mean, being able to do these review videos, as well as every time I go into music stores or every time I go down to NAMM, I'm always around a lot of the budget instruments that people get all crazy about, like the Ibanez's and the LTDs and the Schecters and the Jacksons and the Legators and the this and the that. And out of all that stuff, Schecter is probably the brand that just kind of resonates the most with me. It seems like it's made for metal, and the quality control is really, really high up there. I would highly recommend, if ever you've had a bad experience with them in the past, maybe it might be that particular instrument that you played. Maybe it might be the particular store that you shopped at. Wink, nudge. Maybe some particular chain retailers who don't give a fuck about keeping their guitars properly set and maintained. Maybe it would be in your best interest to track one of these things down brand new, if not a 9-string, then some other series, and just give it another shot. Which brings me to my next point, how this came to be here. I want to give a shout out to Sweetwater, because this is the first time that I've ever made a super major purchase from them, like an actual guitar from them. This was a great experience. My guy at Sweetwater is Ryan Holquist, and what I asked him was, hey, is it possible to order something that is not posted on your website? And he said, as long as it's a brand we carry, probably. The odds are really, really good and they're in your favor. What are you looking for? And I said, Schecter Damien Platinum 9. Please look into it. He's like, wow, a 9-string. I wouldn't even know what to do with that. Yeah, I'll look into it. And he literally got back to me within an hour, letting me know, totally doable. Here's how much it would be. Does this sound agreeable? And it was cheaper than any other retailer that I'd seen. So I was like, well, fuck yeah, let's do this. Not only did he get the order placed for me, but then come to find out, the guitar still gets sent to Sweetwater first. They still give it their 55-point inspection, and they still give you the gallery treatment. They still took these amazing pictures of this guitar and then sent me that gallery to really get my mouth watering. Oh my God, I can't wait to see my baby up close. And I mean, the customer service was just incredible. I got an instrument that was in tip-top shape right from the word go. And yeah, I really couldn't be happier. Go Sweetwater, go Schecter. This shit's awesome. So before we go, let me tell you about what I'm drinking today. This is a limited release from Capital Brewery in Madison, Wisconsin. It is Fishin' in the Dark, which is a Schwarzbier. It's an Imperial Schwarzbier, which means it has a little bit higher alcohol content than this style typically has. It is 7.5% ABV. And what they say here is that while black in color, this Imperial Schwarzbier is light in body with a crisp, refreshing flavor. And I would tend to agree. When it pours pretty black, but with a tan head. It has an aroma that smells very much of roasted malts. And tastes very much of roasted malts as well, although also with a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of that kind of like maybe soy sauce saltiness. It's not to say it tastes like soy sauce, but it does have those subtle notes in there. And there's also a lot of like English toffee in there. Tastes really, really good though. Like the bottle was saying, it is rather crisp and light in terms of the flavor, but it definitely tastes a bit dark as well. It's really weird. There's this kind of cool dichotomy going on. Yep. Capital Brewery, Fishing in the Dark. Check it out. So that does it for me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. Yeah, I'm really thinking that this is going to be a keeper instrument. I might swap the pickups a little bit down the road. But yeah, I think I'm going to hang on to this for a little bit. So let me know if you have any concerns. I'll address them. And as always, ta-ta until the next video. Thanks so much.